Hey guys, so I won't be saying Razorblade Mango this time. I'll just be saying hi, Adam here. I am Razorblade Mango, cause have a guest today. So usually when I review video games, I don't normally go into spoilers. A lot of the time, it's very rare nowadays that I ever do a spoiler thing. But for Horizon, I am willing to make an exception because I actually have someone with me that has played Horizon to completion and I can talk about with them. So, with me today, I have Mario, who's been on the show before. Say hi.
Hi.
And so we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. This is going to be a spoiler cast. I've already done my video where I give my general impressions of the game. But this is going to go into specifics. So if you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn yet, I highly recommend that you do not listen to this, that you go into it blind, because it really is better if you play it blind. So be warned. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to turn this off. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So for everyone else, so Mario, what did you think of Horizon Zero Dawn? What did you think of it? God damn it.
It was amazing.
Fucking amazing. Like, hold the mic, god damn it.
Sorry. Like, literally, like, the last game I played from Guerrilla Games was, like, Killzone Shadowfall.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I hate Killzone. I don't know.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's not that I... Maybe that's being a little too much. I don't hate Killzone.
Same here. I just don't hate it. I just didn't like. I didn't enjoy it.
No, I don't hate Killzone as a whole. I hate Shadowfall. I could not get into Shadowfall at all.
Have you played 1 and 2?
I tried a long time ago to play 1 and 2, and I could not get into it. Like, it's weird. Like, there's, as big of a PlayStation fan as I am, there are just a couple series of theirs that are just not for me. Like, Killzone is one of them. Resistance is another. Little Big Planet is another one. Like, those three, I think I understand why people like them. I understand why they're popular, but I've never been able to get into them, and I've never been a fan of Guerrilla Games until now. And even then, I'm not sure if I'm like just a fan of Guerrilla Games or I'm a fan of Horizon Zero Dawn. So I guess that's the best way to put it. I'm still not a fan of Guerrilla Games, but I'm a big fan of Horizon Zero Dawn because I think it is fucking great. Like, I'm glad this didn't turn into another Order 1886. Where I'm so happy this didn't. I'm so fucking happy it didn't.
Oh my god.
That would have been heartbreaking. Can you imagine that? This like, because they pumped so much like marketing and money into this. Can you imagine it being like the Order 1886 all over again?
Hey, they were fucking confident about this.
They were confident. Well, yeah, they had a confidence about this that I don't think the Order 1886, the people behind that, Ready at Dawn, had. Because they like let people review this like a week before it came out. A week. You don't see that very often, and that's usually a sign. Like, if I see a game is gonna have reviews come out for it, like a day before, like they did that with Final Fantasy 15, they did that with Resident Evil 7,
Bloodborne.
with Bloodborne. No, Bloodborne was like hours before I got it. It was like literally an hour before I got it. I remember like us being at GameStop, and then we went to go eat before they opened, and that's when the reviews came in. That's when I saw like the 9.75 out of 10 from Game Informer and shit like that. So, I don't know whether it was just like a Japanese thing that they didn't want to have the reviews come out until like literally the last hour before it came out, but it was like... But look how Bloodborne turned out. Bloodborne, I fucking love Bloodborne. You guys know how I am about Bloodborne. Everyone does. But it's like they had balls having people do reviews of this like a week before it came out, which that's awesome. I love that.
Just got me more excited for the game.
Yeah, it made me more excited that this was going to be something really cool. Now, also, as I've said before, I don't put a lot of stock into reviewer scores anymore. And even like the handful of people that I like really truly am confident about and believe in, like Jim Sterling, Angry Joe, Total Biscuit, Super Bunny, Colin Moriarty, like people like that. Like I even like hearing the praise from them about it, because like Jim Sterling gave it like a 9.5 out of 10, and for him that's huge. But again, like he'll say he like really likes Final Fantasy 15, or really likes Firewatch, and those are games that I don't particularly care for. But I wasn't gonna put too much stock into it. But I was glad to see that it was getting like this big huge reception, and it's also doing well financially from what I hear. Like it outsold No Man's Sky as like the best PlayStation 4 debut for a new franchise, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, because one, No Man's Sky is bullshit.
Actually, it's actually pronounced No Man's Lie.
It is No Man's Lie. That's right. So it's fuck that game. Fucking hate that game. But this isn't. I don't want to talk about No Man's Sky. I want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. So since this is a spoiler cast, I guess I'm just gonna dive right into the ending. And I want to make sure you have played all the missions.
I played it. I stopped playing. I finished it until 2:00 in the morning.
Jesus. You saw like the end credits scene with Silence,
with Silence
capturing Hades.
Capturing Hades.
Okay.
I'm like, and you see the big fucking machine. I'm like,
yeah. So
sequel.
That's one of the things that disappointed me a little bit, because
Eric was very disappointed by that too.
What, that they were gonna make a sequel?
No, the part with Silence. He's like,
oh
you
yeah,
son of a bitch.
Well, I wasn't disappointed like that. I was disappointed that it's the same thing with the Order 1886, where
it kind of cuts like
no, even that, like I think the ending of Horizon Zero Dawn is good. Like it's a good ending to this world. Like there isn't any mystery left. Like at that point, I don't think there was any mystery. Like we knew what happened with Elizabeth Sobek. We knew why society is in this like hunter-gatherer state. We know why the machines are roaming. We know why life didn't die out. We know all that. Like we have all the answers, and that makes for a good ending. But then to come at the end and have this like, oh, it's an after-credit sequence where we have Silence capturing Hades and seeing the big machine, and I'm like, ugh. Of course they have to do a sequel. I feel like my Aloy statue is judging me. Like I'm like criticizing the game, and it's
what Eric told me was it can either be a sequel or it can be a DLC.
I would prefer an expansion.
That's what he said.
This is one of those cases where I actually want an expansion of this. Because I like this game so much that I'm glad they didn't have like, oh, it's the season pass, you get all these expansions. No, there's no season pass for this game. And this is one of those cases where, because they're not like shoving it down my throat, that I'm like, cool, I feel like I got a complete experience out of this. Now I would willingly pay more. And I've already spent like $120 on the fucking game. More, because I bought the collector's edition. I'm glad I did. But it's like, I want more.
You spent 180 actually.
108. Oh yeah. I bought one for you for your birthday. That's right. I've spent $180 on this game. Not only just for myself, but for Mario here. That was worth it.
Totally worth it.
That was worth it.
Best present I had.
You're welcome. Thank you, and you're welcome. And it reminds me a lot of like The Witcher. Even The Witcher had that expansion pass, which I think that was worth it in the end, because Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are two of the best expansions I've ever played. Like I love them. I think they're great. And then to see Horizon Zero Dawn like not come out with that, I hope they take like a Bloodborne approach where they release the game like early on, because if like when you look at it, like Bloodborne came out in March. That DLC didn't come out until like November. So if we get like the game now and then the expansion for it comes out in like November or October, I would love that. I think that would be a really good right amount of time between it. Because I want an expansion for it. I want to know what happens with Silence. And it's not that I don't want to know what happens. It's just I'd rather like, if they are doing this as a sequel bait, I'd prefer they just not have that at the end credits, because that to me, it reminds me so much of like what I don't like about a lot of movies coming out where they have to have post-credit sequences, and I'm not a big fan of them anymore. But I've talked so much. Mario, look, I'm gonna have you take the mic. This spotlight's on you. What did you think about the ending and all that?
Pretty much everything you said.
Well,
it's true. Well, it's true because like this game ended so perfectly, and I'm like, I will prefer an expansion over a sequel.
Yeah.
And me and Eric, my brother, we've been talking about this for like last night for like an hour. That we prefer a DLC over an expansion. I mean, yeah, DLC over a fucking sequel. Mm-hmm. Because we want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
We're like intrigued by this. Like the way when he saw Silas, he's like, I want to know what the fuck happens. You know, I want to know what's going to happen next, what he's going to do. Because like the way it ended during the post-credits, we're like, we want to know. What is this machine? Will he activate it with Hades? You know? Like, it's even possible. And for everyone else, did anybody get the ancient armory?
I did.
You finally got it?
I got it. I actually went back to what was it called? The mission where you have to like climb the mountain and you see the hologram of like the beginning of like what Zero Dawn is.
Oh, you have to go all the way back there.
I went all the way back up that building just to get the power cell because that pissed me off because like it was right fucking there.
I told you.
And I missed it, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I had to go back and try to find it.
He all got mad at me because I told him about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's not part of the main quest. It's like a little side quest.
Well, I didn't know that. I saw that mission in my side quests, and I saw it was like level 25, and I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm not doing that." Fucking, you kidding me? I was like level 8 or 9 when I got that side quest, and I'm like, "No, what the fuck?" And I didn't know that it was gonna be like this big collectathon thing where you'd have to go to like certain story specific areas and get the power cells there. Like I didn't know you had to go back to the ruins that Aloy fell in as a child and get it there. I didn't know you had to go to Gaia Prime to get it there. Why the fuck? God damn it. Sorry for the background noise. My fucking dog is like running around in my bed, so it's fucking annoying. So, anyway, Gaia Prime, you gotta go back to the ruins. You gotta go to the one where it's the science office. I forget what it's called, but it's, you have to get the power cells. That armor set fucking breaks the game for the most part. It is so powerful.
I had it armored towards the end of the game, the last mission.
Uh-huh.
And I just kept getting hit by rockets and rockets and rockets and rockets and rockets and rockets and rockets, and I'm like, still at full level. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like immortal. Eric's like, you're not immortal. Why? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I like that they balance that out by I need to get a second mic for you. Or like it balances out by, it will tell you visually on the armor when it needs to recharge. Because like the ancient armor, it's like you get hit a bunch of times and it will like start to flash red when you like can take damage. And I like that balance is there. It's still fucking overpowered as fuck, but it still has its weakness. Like, and if you manage to like dodge out of the way, yeah, you can be like practically invincible. Like when the Stormbird comes on, like at the end, when like the freaking, and I tested it when like going up to Gaia Prime and you have to fight the Stormbird, I just like stood there and let it hit me like a bunch of times, and it didn't do shit. And I was like, this is fucking broken. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like, I busted my ass getting these power cells, and I finally have this like kick-ass armor. Like, and it wasn't reserved for DLC. It wasn't reserved for a fucking season pass exclusive.
It wasn't a pre-order.
It wasn't a pre-order bonus. It was a fucking thing you got by playing the game and doing a side quest. The way it's meant to be done. And I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn like encapsulates so much about when the AAA gaming industry isn't greedy as shit and isn't trying to hawk a bunch of DLC at you, this is the result of what it is. Like something like The Witcher 3 and Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, are like two big examples of this. And the fact that this is going to be a huge success, that makes me incredibly happy. But anyway, the the power suit. And I still died during the last mission. I died a couple times, like during the siege on Meridian, especially when the fucking Stormbird came in.
Wait, you died?
I died, and I was wearing the armor.
I didn't die.
Oh, I died. Like
I didn't die one single.
I was having a tough time trying to kill some of the sawtooths and the choppers coming in, and it didn't help that they were corrupted and they kept having the fucking poison all over the place.
No,
so I'm getting poisoned.
When I saw those, because Eric was seeing me fight this, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna fucking love this shit." I'm like, "Why?" Mm-hmm. And you see all the fucking machines coming, and I'm like, "Oh, well, it's nothing bad. It's just regular enemies." He's like, "Oh, that's not the worst part." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I see a fucking Stormbird. I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!" He's like, bah, bah. I'm like, "Fucking shit!" And like and always you're like using the damn machine, and you're like, you have to wait until it gets like to 6. And you get a slow motion and like hit it really good, because if not, then you're fucking screwed. Mm-hmm. He just comes right after you. I'm like, oh my fucking god, I fucking hate this shit. Fucking hate this shit.
So anyway, it's like I died a couple times, and it was, I know it.
Oh my god.
we just saw Lost Legacy concept art. I'm looking on my computer right now.
Yeah,
I know this. Yeah, I know this is very unprofessional, but I'm like, fucking, it's Uncharted. It's like, I still died though. Like when the Stormbird came in, you have the Deathbringer coming up behind it, and I was like, okay, this is still a challenge. And I was playing it all the way on normal, so I still got like a decent challenge out of it. But what really broke it for me was like the final Hades Deathbringer at the end. That was so easy. Like, I had a tougher time dealing with the corrupted animals that it kept summoning more than taking down the Deathbringer. And, like, I remember when that mission pops up with the Deathbringer, like, earlier, and I remember thinking, like, are you fucking kidding me? I have to be this is a level 18 recommended mission, and I have to fight that goddamn thing? And then I saw it, and I started hitting it, and its health literally just went boom, 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 and just went down and died. And I'm like, oh, these fucking enemies are pushovers. These guys aren't shit. And then later on, when the other ones started coming in, and I hadn't acquired the ancient armor yet, I was like, oh shit, I better get out of the way of these things. But that reminds me, I love when you fight like the bigger monsters, how they give out, like, when you shoot down certain components, they have like weapons, like the disc shooter or the machine gun. I fucking love that.
He was a wussy to take down a Thunderjaw.
I was.
I took one out at level 8.
What?
This is the beginning of the game. I took one out at level 8.
What?
It took me at least about 30, 40 minutes. Because I kept fucking dying. A lot. And when I finally defeated it, I was like so proud of myself. And I told Adam, I told my brother, I even took a photo shot about it. And I'm like, how the fuck did I even do that? And I was like, I was just level 8. I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I was like, because I told myself, if I get the game, my first accomplishment will be taking down a Thunderjaw. Mm-hmm. And to tell you guys, it is not like the fucking E3 gameplay.
No. She
makes it look like nothing.
Yeah.
This took me about 30, 40 minutes. Oh, I died 4 times.
Oh, I didn't take that long.
Well, you were already up.
Yeah, but still.
I didn't have anything. I was like weak and shit. Like, it took me forever. I gotta find out like his secret secret weaknesses and everything, and
I got forced into a confrontation with the Thunderjaw because there's a side mission where
The trials?
No. There's a side mission where some guy who's like this prick healer. Not a prick healer, but he's a healer who's a prick. So he's like, oh, well, if you want me to save this little girl, you better bring me a Thunderjaw heart. And I'm like, oh fuck, because I never had fought one before until.
Was it the corrupted one? Or just a regular
No. That too, when like the story forces you to fight the corrupted Thunderjaw, I was like, God damn it! I knew that was gonna come in somewhere, because I heard from your brother that there was a corrupted one. I was like, fuck, and then I saw there was a corrupted Stormbird, and I'm like, fuck, because I tried I think I tried fighting a Stormbird before I tried fighting a Thunderjaw. Because when I came in to, I was like spawning at some campsite, and I didn't know that it was an area where one of the Stormbirds was. So I spawned in, and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'll be fine. So I spawned in, and like while it was loading, I left to get, I think I left to get some water. I came back, and like almost all my health was gone. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I see this like giant Stormbird in front of me, and I was like, oh fuck. I just like looked up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna not end well. And sure enough, just boom, it killed me. I was like, fuck. So then I tried fighting it, and this is back when I didn't have the arrows that like give off a lot of tear damage. So I had like just the shitty generic arrows and the shitty fire arrows, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I died like 5 times going up against it, and I was like, this is not, I can't do this. So
Do you use the freaking rope caster?
I did, but I rarely use the rope caster on the Stormbird, because like it will just hover there, and I can just take like it. I get that ability where I can add like 3 arrows to my bow and just fire like 3 arrows at once. That takes off like 300 damage on its like core center on its stomach, 300, and that it went, its health down went like boop, and I'm like, good, now I'm on the right track. Now I know what I'm doing. So yeah, I came back, I kicked that thing's ass, and I was like, fuck yeah, I killed one of these motherfuckers. And then I killed a Thunderjaw, and I was like, yeah. And then I actually went back last night to where I encountered my first Thunderjaw and got my ass kicked that thing's ass in like 5 minutes. I like hid behind a rock, shot off its machine guns, took the machine guns, and just shot it to death. I was like, fuck you, Thunderjaw.
How long did it take you to kill the beast and the Death Ring? I mean...
the big one where... Oh, the story mission?
Yeah, the story mission. How long did that take you?
Like 10 minutes, maybe.
That took me 2.
Oh. See, I had a tough time getting it to stand still, because I didn't have... I kept losing... I kept running out of wire. And I didn't realize until that point how crucial wire was to the game, with you, like, making your stuff.
It's so crucial.
It's crucial, and I was like, fuck, I don't have enough wire. So, once that was over, I made it my mission to stock up on, like, wire before I went into every single story mission.
What do you think I told you? I took most of the time trying to look for resources and, like, doing side quests instead.
Well, I mean...
Because right away, well, I didn't want to tell you right away because I would have spoiled it for you.
Of course not, yeah.
And I'm like, the reason why I did it because, like, I knew how, like, every time I fought, like, either a Sawtooth or a Thunderjaw that came in the way or a Snapmaw, I was like, oh, fuck those. Fuck those. Dude, okay. So, there's one mission where there's a side quest where you gotta, like, search for a guy and he's on an island. And I was like, okay, I'll just... no, well, it's funny because I didn't scan the place.
Yeah.
I just started swimming.
Yeah, that one.
And I hear something like swimming, and I'm like looking through my left, and I just stood there, and I see a Snapmaw just like looking at me, and I'm just like, slowly, zzz. I'm like, fucking shit! I'm like, go swimming as fast as I can. By the time I get there, I jump, and he misses me by like this much, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just all like, fuck, where's my fire arrows? Where the fuck? I go throwing as much as I can, and this fucker just jumps out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my god, fuck you. Next thing you know, behind me, it's another one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, how many are there? There's 3. I'm like, fuck this shit.
I hate when that happens. Like, there was a time when I was farming sawtooths. Not sawtooths. What the fuck are the... Is it a sawtooth? The freaking the crocodile ones.
Snapmaw.
Snapmaw. There we go. The Snapmaws, where they there was like one of them in the water, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna farm this one because you get like 1,000 XP from that and the Glinthawks, and the Glinthawks are really easy to take down for me.
For Snapmaws, they have a lot of chill water too.
They do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take down this Snapmaw, and like because I was like 1,000, and then I hit it. And you know how it's like the yellow dot comes up where it's like the question mark or the exclamation mark? I saw like 5 of those pop up. And I saw like 4 other Snapmaws come out of the water and start like run at me. And I was like, well, I'm fucked. And then it just, boom! They just like kicked my ass. And like that was before. They're
quick.
aggressive. Yeah, they're quick.
They're quick. Just like even one by itself, you have to
aggressive.
run fast. You have to keep dodging and rolling because these fuckers jump like fucking kangaroos or like sawtooths as well.
Oh
They
my
fucking
God.
jump like nothing. Like literally, if you're like
Boom.
if you're like trying to hide behind a rock, no,
Hey,
just
good luck.
keep running. Just keep running because these fuckers are fast. I'm like maybe real life and crocodile ain't fast, but fuck, these guys are.
Yeah. They're like, I hate it. Like they sneak in the water, and then you're at the shore, and then they just like fly up in the air and like slam you with their stomachs, and you're just like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, holy shit. And then after a while, I couldn't get their things to explode in their back.
Their armor's strong.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the canisters on their back.
The
Like
canister?
earlier, I was like shooting them and they would blow up. But like I don't know if this is a bug or whatever, but like later on in the game, like I kept firing the arrows at them. It would catch on fire, but it would never blow up. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is this like a bug or something? And I haven't heard anything from Gorilla. Maybe it's in like a patch or something. Speaking of patches, one of the things that like pissed me off about this game, you can't buy multiple resources like at one time. You have to individually press X. You have to hold down and press X for every single time you buy a wire. So if I'm buying like 200 wire, I fucking hold down the X button like 200 times in order to get what I want. And I'm like, dude, there needs to be a freaking buy multiple option. That's what irritates me. There's a sell multiple option. There's no buy multiple option. Unless there is one, and I'm just stupid enough not to see it. It's not there. That's one of the like little things that really pissed me off about the game.
Another thing that pisses me off about the game, as much as I love it, there is one thing that pisses me off.
What's that?
It's when she gets hit and you're trying to run.
Oh God!
When you
splash damage.
when you get hit, you're on the floor. She doesn't have a quick reaction where you can just control the player and try to run again because she'll start running regularly. Then you have to fucking click it again.
Yeah.
Then you start running. But by the time that happens, like the Thunderjaw's ready to get you with his fucking tail again, and you're like, again on the floor or a fucking watcher or a snapbot, anything. Which like I'm like, oh my god.
Well, also,
Oh my god! Like I used to fucking yell at that. I'm like, "Come on, you fucking bitch, run!" And my brother's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, I seen you. Shut up! Shut up! I seen you already doing this already, right?" And I'm all fucking going about it. I'm like, "Fuck, man!"
fucking Eric.
And I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's like, no, like Eric was telling me, "Why are you getting so mad? You're about to pass the game. I just want to fucking pass this shit because I want to go to fucking sleep."
Yeah, I know what that's like.
I'm like, "Fuck, man! I just want to pass this game. Fuck, you passed it." Adam already passed it. I'm about to fucking pass it. Angel's is the last mission already too. And I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. I was like, fuck. Come on. Like this.
I know, Eric, my friend Eric, beat it already. So at least I think he did. No, he didn't. He was saying he needed to finish it. So I take that back.
Another thing is the climbing.
I like the climbing.
No, there's some times where I don't know. Maybe it's on my part probably because I don't climb as much with her. Probably I'm still not used too much of the mechanics. I'm used to like running or jumping most of the time.
I don't think it's as good as like Uncharted. It's not as good as Uncharted 4 climbing, which I think Uncharted 4 climbing is really good.
I think they weren't trying to make it like pretty much like, okay, she can struggle. She's human.
Yeah.
You know, like,
oh yeah.
Nathan Drake's like super upper body strength.
Yeah.
That stuff.
You know the thing I'm really glad about Horizon Zero Dawn, especially hearing like some of the complaints from like Breath of the Wild and like the stamina. I'm so glad they didn't have a stamina meter in this. That would have given me like flashbacks to like Shadow of the Colossus, like yelling at the screen when you're the kid trying to climb and like the fucking stamina is lowering and you're like, God damn it, just fucking move, you asshole. But it makes sense with like her, like she's like trained her whole life to be this like super powerful badass, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense not having a stamina wheel, and it's convenient not having one because you can sprint like indefinitely, and I hate it in games when like you can just sprint and then they go and it's like, dude, you barely ran like a couple feet. When do you like what do you look like you just ran a marathon for? But no, it's like fucking Aloy is able to like, and I love Aloy, by the way. Aloy is awesome. Aloy is like, she can like run forever. And I'm like, I love you. You're awesome. Um,
I hated how people were comparing this to like Assassin's Creed because of the open world and how she can run. I'm like, oh, please don't.
uh-huh.
I'm like, no, guys, do not compare this to any fucking other game.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to say that you can compare it.
You can compare it, but to tell you the truth, it's not close to even Assassin's Creed.
No. Even Assassin's Creed has decent stamina, from what I remember, and it's been a while since I've played an Assassin's Creed game.
Revelations? Oh no, Black Flag, right?
No, the last one I played was Syndicate. In Syndicate, I don't remember a stamina thing being in Syndicate. I remember it. I don't know, but it's like, it's strange that the thing that I admire a lot about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I've said this earlier, is that it takes so much from like all these different games, and yet it like Resident Evil 7. I think like Resident Evil 7 and Horizon, they're like very similar when it comes to design philosophy, because Resident Evil 7 took like a lot of influences from like a lot of different things. Like it takes influence from like Outlast and Amnesia and PT, and then like not just that, but like movies like Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead, shit like that. This game is very similar in the sense that it takes inspiration from like, you know, you got the watchtowers from like Ubisoft games. You got the crafting from Far Cry. You've got the tracking from Witcher. You've got the dialogue options from Mass Effect. You've got the combat like the strategic kind of combat like Monster Hunter.
The cinematics like from Uncharted.
And it's a lot like climbing like Uncharted. Cinematics like the very elaborate set piece moments, which I don't. That's one of another like concern I have about this is that I hope they improve this for the second one, is that I feel like some of the more like cinematic moments, like I put that in quotations, it felt a little janky. Like there's that bit when like you're running away from you have to infiltrate the camp where Hades is. And when you're like running away from him like shooting the stuff at you, that's meant to be like this big like Uncharted-esque moment where you're like running away and there's like this like organized. Yeah, I love that. Like when you're running away from them, and if you can't see it because Mario made the motion of like the grapple hook, which is awesome in both Uncharted and Horizon. But it's like, I feel like running away from Hades felt really awkward and like really like odd to control. But like the opposite, where it's like Uncharted 4, where like running away from like the tank or the armored car in those games feels so smooth, and so it's like this very like tightly directed illusion of chaos.
How many times did you die during that scene?
I died like 3 times maybe.
It's about the same.
Yeah, I was like, I could not get a read on like where to go, because it was like they were shooting at me so much that like in the thick of it I was just kind of like I don't know, but it's like, yeah, it could have been better in that case. I feel like the final fight could have been a little bit better too. Like, and I like the final fight, but it's like it doesn't have that same like. To me, it reminded me of like why I like Titanfall 2 so much, like the ending so much. Whereas like the ending of Titanfall 2, and you've played Titanfall 2, right? Yeah. Oh, of course, I'll let you borrow it. Where it's like, and the final like siege of the robot, the area, like where the weapon is, the super weapon, when you're like running in, like people are like, Titans are like exploding, and there's like ships battling in the sky, and there's like Titan, like people being crushed left and right, and then you got the minions coming in like, I'm gonna kill you, and then you blow them up, and it all creates this like illusion of like this really amazing final battle, awesome moment. But in Horizon, it's like it has that moment, but it doesn't go all the way with it, because it tells you like, oh, you know, like, because you can have like the optional recruits from the side missions, and you can like recruit like Nil, you can recruit what is her name, the one that like leads the mom and son out of Sunfall. I forget her name, but I think it's like Valerie or Valesco or something like that.
I was gonna tell you,
Mm-hmm.
what dev did you choose for Heelys? Heelys?
Oh, Heelys?
Yeah.
I did the love option. Because I wanted. So what did you do?
I just the love one too, where you just look to the sun.
Turn your head to the sun. And like, stabs him. I was like, okay, that's pretty. That's pretty fitting.
But dude, I had the talking about this. I had the armor, and he struck me with one hit. I was dead.
Really?
Yeah. I had the armor, and he just like struck me once, and I died.
See, I got hit a bunch of times by him, and I didn't get.
I did.
Like, he just kept hit. He hit me a couple times. And what's stupid is like he can block the arrows. I'm like, dude, no, no, don't have this where like he can block arrows. I'm like, that's bullshit.
How did you like the part where Aloy's like, what was her name again? Lansha, one of the old ladies, the one that kept bitching the whole time that she's this and that, and finally she's like forgiven. She's telling everybody, for years you guys didn't want me, and like all this.
I love that.
I love that too, and like telling her, she's like, oh well, to tell you the truth, remember how she's like, evil's everywhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit.
She's like,
I was like, god damn.
I think that's like really, that's part of why I like Aloy so much. Is that she is, she's a huntress at heart. Like, later on in the game, they'll call her, like, the anointed. They'll say she's, like, the savior of the tribe. But it's like, no. In her heart, she's always, like, been this outcast, in a sense. And I like how she keeps that value throughout, like, the whole game. She doesn't, like, let this, like, this success go to her head. She's, like, a very grounded protagonist where she's very kind-hearted. Like, you can give her the option to be like kind-hearted and stuff like that, but she also has this like little splash of cynicism. And I'm quoting Jim Sterling, where it's like this splash of cynicism where like they'll be like, oh, we need to pray, and she's like, no you don't. Like, the gods will not help you because the gods don't exist. They're machines. And it's like, so I like that about her. I think she's a real, like, I wasn't sure. I've said this before. I was not sure about this game initially. Like, the first couple of hours, I was like, I don't know about this, because I didn't really like where the story was going. I didn't really like how awkward it felt to fight the humans. I didn't like the whole initial stealth stuff with Aloy as a kid. I felt that was kind of irritating, where like you couldn't fight them. I mean, I get why it's to build up the sense of like, feeling helpless, and then when you finally achieve that power, you feel like great. I get that, but it still, I think, could have been done a little bit better.
Gabriel said that she looked like Chucky when she was little.
I can see that. Yeah.
You can see that.
She does look like Chucky.
He's like, damn, little Chucky girl. Look at her walk. Look at her walk. All like Chucky. I'm like, god damn it, man. He's like all streaming this on his YouTube.
Has he finished it?
No. Oh. He's like barely on like part 3 walkthrough, which I think he's only played like probably like 4 hours of the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's gay for you.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely Gabe. Fucking Mitchell. He no, but she I just like Aloy. I really like Aloy. I'm proud to have her as a statue alongside Batman and Geralt. Like, that to me feels right, having that. So I'm glad that's there.
You're just missing a Bloodborne statue.
I am missing a Bloodborne statue. So I hear, actually, like, Calvin, who's another one of my friends, has been on the show before. He's actually gonna get me like a Jack Cooper. From what I hear, he picked out like a Jack Cooper statue from Titanfall 2 for my birthday, and I was like, that's awesome. I didn't even know those existed, because I thought you could only get like him with BT or something. And I still want to get a statue with BT and Jack, but I'm like, fuck, I'll take a statue with
you also
Jack
want
Cooper.
The mask.
I want the helmet, but it's like fucking $150. It's a lot of money. It's a lot for a helmet.
All for a helmet.
If I had known how much I'd love the game, I would have gone for the collector's edition. But $190, that's too much. And I'm glad, like, Horizon was only like 120.
Shadow War 300.
That's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. I don't care how good Shadow of War looks. No collector's edition is worth $300. Like, okay, maybe not no collector's edition, but very, very few of them, in my opinion, are worth $300. Knowing Warner Brothers, yes.
Especially with Arkham Knight with the whole card thing.
Yep.
Remember?
Yeah.
Talking about it, used to work there.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That was back when I used to work there, and yeah. When I mean, we'll get back to Horizon in a bit, but it's like these collector's editions. I think, and like Jim Sterling said something interesting, where like collector's editions seem really pretentious when they're for franchises that don't have like this big fandom behind it, which is always a risk. I think even then it's like a risk with established franchises because you never know. Like I got burned with Mortal Kombat X. I got burned with Batman Arkham Knight. Like I did not like those games. I did not think they were worth the money I spent on them. But like new franchises coming in, like Bloodborne that I bought the collector's edition for. I bought the collector's edition for Horizon Zero Dawn, Witcher 3, which I liked the old Witchers, but I never like loved them to the degree that I do Witcher 3. So even then that was a risk. But it pays off occasionally. And this is one of those times where it paid off. And I freaking dig the shit out of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is awesome. But anyway, back to Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm glad that they didn't have Silence in any of the trailers. Like that actor, I think Lance Reddick is his name. He's on Fringe.
I think so.
He was one of the guys in Quantum Break. Which, by the way, this is a much better role for him than a fucking Quantum Break. Like when he popped up, I was like, "Oh shit, it's fucking Lance Reddick!" Like that's cool. And then he's in it for like most of the game. I'm like, that's really awesome. And he, do you know who he is? Yeah, he's the guy in John Wick, who's the hotel clerk at the what the fuck is it called? The
Continental.
The Continental, yeah. Ah, damn it! I saw it only a month ago and I forgot. But it's like he's in it, and I like how he never becomes like this, like anti-hero turned good guy at the end. It's like he remains self-centered throughout the whole thing. And even at the end, when he like captures Hades, and he's like, "Yeah, remember me? Yeah, I still want to use you. I don't care that you tried to like destroy and wipe out all humanity. I'm still going to use you for my purposes. Yeah, I want knowledge." And I'm like, okay, I think that's an interesting characterization for him, where it doesn't become like the cliched, "I have seen the error of my ways, and now I will fight along beside you." The only time
I was like, that's too good to be true. That was way too good to be true.
Yeah.
I'm like, something's gonna happen. I know he's gonna like. He's not gonna get rid of everything he learned. I'm like, the way he talks, the way he is. I was like, something's gonna happen, and I was right.
Yeah.
He captured Hades, and now he still wants more knowledge. He still wants to know more about it, and I'm like, great.
It's like the one time he helps you like directly is when he intervenes with the Colosseum. That's the one time that he does, and then he mentions like leaving like stuff you can climb onto to get to like Gaia Prime and stuff like that. He still needs you, and he's practically using you, but it's like this. It's like a working relationship that you understand. That Aloy understands, and Aloy is not fucking naive. Where she's like, "Oh, we're friends." She's like, "No, fuck you. Like I know what you're doing, but I'm gonna go along with it because I'm getting something out of this too." And I like that. I think that's cool. Wasn't too big about any of the other characters. Like I really didn't care that much about Ross. Like I knew he was gonna die. Like right when I saw him, I'm like, dude, you're gonna die. Like you're gonna die either like in the middle of the game, or you're gonna die like in the beginning. And I called it like at the beginning when like he walks away and he's like, "Oh, Aloy, we're never gonna see each other again." I'm like, no, you're gonna come back. You're gonna sacrifice yourself for it. Sure enough, comes back, gets stabbed, gets blown up. He's done. He's out. And I'm like, okay. And it's meant to be like this big, revenge motive for Aloy where she kills whatever his name is. But I don't know. I just never really gave a shit about Rost all that much. I was just kind of like, huh?
All in.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Even like a lot of the other characters, like the war chief, the I think the only guy besides Silas that I really liked was the Vanguard leader at Meridian. I forget his name.
Avad?
No, not Avad. Ursa's brother. I forget his name. I probably should have looked up his.
Olin. No,
Olin?
not Olin.
No. I'll look it up here. But like, I like him much more than a lot of the other characters because I think he actually goes through an arc in this where he starts out as like this drunken kind of like fuck up, but then he like because of the death of his sister and her like dying words, he has to grow up. He has to be like, oh shit, this is getting real. I better sober up and get with the program, and that's exactly what he does, which I think is really cool, and I think that makes for an interesting character for him. But besides that, didn't really like Nil all that much. Didn't find him very interesting. Didn't really give a shit much about the Sun King. Even the villains, I'm like, yeah, it's Aaron, okay, but I liked Aaron. Everyone else was just kind of like it needed better. It needed more memorable characters. It really did. Like, because I did not, besides Aloy, besides Silas, besides Aaron, I didn't really give a shit about any of the other people involved. Like, I was just like, all right, whatever. Even that like freaking the quartermaster that like follows you around a lot of the time. I was just like, yeah, I know I saved you in the beginning, but like whatever, dude. It's not. I don't really care. But yeah, I think it helped. What's amazing about this too is that it's written by I think the story and everything was written by the guy that did Fallout New Vegas, and I'm not really crazy about Fallout New Vegas and how that goes. And I think some of that is in here with the characters, but for the most part, I think the storytelling is quite good. It's good for like their first time doing an open world RPG. And I like how there isn't this like big push to get you where you need to go. Like as much as I love Skyrim, like I adore Skyrim, but like the whole like save the world from Alduin thing is kind of bullshit. When you can just run off and like collect butterflies and get married and stuff like that. It's like there's no real emotional weight to like this. There's no real like it gives you like this really like facsimile of an illusion that what is going on right now is like the utmost importance, and like you have to actually do it right now. Go save the world right now. Go kill the dragon right now. And it's like, yeah, but game wise, you're not telling me that. I can just go fuck off and do whatever I want. Horizon, they don't really make it that big of a deal until the very end. And at that point, they tell you, this is a big fucking deal, what's going to happen. If you have anything you need to do it now, because you will not get a chance once this goes down. And it's like, there's no real, like, big, huge drive for going forward with the story. It's just, when you get around to it, great. You want to go off and explore? Fine. It doesn't have that bullshit illusion there. But, so anything else you want to say about the story, characters, anything like that?
You fucking nailed it already, so it's fine.
Yeah, but like, I want to hear from you. I have you over for a reason.
Well, I know you have a point for a reason, but you like tackle mostly everything.
Well, go ahead. Go off on anything you want to talk about.
Fuck. No, seriously, like you literally took down everything. Like I was,
damn it.
you really just. Come on, you've done this more than I have for like years now.
Yeah, but
I'm more of the technology guy myself.
yeah, but still.
It's like.
I'm gonna have you over. Like you played it and stuff like that.
I know I played it. I loved it. It's amazing. It's just that. I'm trying to think. Let's see what I'm doing. You still didn't talk about the weapon system.
Oh, you want to talk about the weapon system?
Yeah,
Sure,
well, yeah, we gotta talk about
go
it.
ahead.
Because remember how in the beginning of the game you like totally suck at like hitting stuff, arrows, and all that stuff, and how like you kind of develop on the game and now you become like a fucking badass like she was when she was training. You're like, after that, like there's all these there's the ones with the tribe, then you got the Karja and you have the Shadow, right? Shadow ones. What was your favorite weapon out of all of them?
Oh, easily the precision arrows. The ones with the tear, the Shadow Courage. I think it was the Shadow Courage bow. Easily, that was my favorite. Like once I got that, I just used that throughout the whole game. Like the one that has the tear arrows, and then the one that has the purple ones where you shoot it at the ground and it makes that emitting like the brrr, and it like knocks this shockwave back. That was my favorite bow. I like used that throughout the rest of the game.
Did you
never replaced it?
Did you unlock the ability where like
corruption arrows?
No, you use your stick and you just like knock down one of the fucking machines.
I don't think so. Like I didn't get all of the skills yet. I'm not level 50. I'm like level 43, I think. I know level 50 is the cap, but
I think that's what Eric's at right now.
I'm level 43. But I know like you can still get the skill points afterwards.
The slingshot?
I never used a slingshot.
Never used a slingshot?
Never once did I use a slingshot.
Those are very helpful.
That's what I've heard.
Those are very helpful. Like especially if you're trying to run from like a far range. It's just come in handy because there's either there's shock,
fire, and
snow,
ice.
So like if you were like trying to hide from enemies, like that was like the perfect weapon to like shoot them from far. And once they were like on fire or frozen, you couldn't just go into your regular arrows and you just like shoot them with like 3 at a time. It was a great way to defeat them. And after like all the modifications with the suits and like the weapons, well, but by the time you even got like the ancient armor, there wasn't no use for modifications anymore. You were pretty much unbeatable. But weapons, yeah, like obviously you start off with the Nora, kind of the tribe weapons. You only have 1 modifications. Once you go to like Karajo, you got 2. Then once you go with the Shadow, you got like 3 modifications. So you could have been like a badass with those. Because I was like, what, like it was like I think I had like 4 plus 45 on everything. So like every time like taking down a Watcher was like nothing. Back then it was like fuck, you gotta keep running.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can just shoot them like in their fucking eye and they're dead already. Plus 90 damage. Sawtooth, everything just makes it like now you can like fight enemies. It just makes it so easier. It's just the big ones like the Thunderjaw or the Corruptors. They're pretty much the harder ones. Everything else doesn't feel like a challenge. Obviously, you concentrate the game, you got better at it, you feel like a badass. Basically, how it was like in the E3 gameplays.
Yeah,
that's basically how it is, and it's like kind of like you adapt to it so quickly, like you just get better at it. Like the way I saw Mitch right now, he fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, he like barely plays the fucking.
He fucking plays the game. I'm like, oh my god, Mitch, you could have done that. You could have done that. You could have done that. He's like, how did I miss? I'm like, you missed. And like, the more you play it, the better you get at like trying to aim better and all that stuff. And the game just becomes like, you just get more into it. Like you just want to keep like upgrading, see what this does and all that.
You feel
get
powerful.
Better. You feel powerful. You're like a badass, especially with the armor.
Yeah.
You're like. Fuck this shit, like I can like overcome anything.
So we're almost at the hour point. So I guess final topic. And I gotta think about this a little bit more. What was your favorite part of the game? Like if you had to pick one moment for you that like defined Horizon, what would it be?
Favorite part of the game. Probably when you're in the ring.
Huh?
In the ring.
Oh.
I just love that part. It felt like Gladiator, where like everyone's like, come on, yeah, and after that, like you actually trick the beast into trying to collapse everything, and she gets her armor. She's like telling everybody, what now, huh? Yeah. And like everyone's like, what? And after you defeat the thing, and he sends his 2 fucking what are they called again?
Oh, the Corruptors?
The Corruptors, and she's like, how come you don't come and face me, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck? See? Even this bitch has more balls than you. You have to send 2 fucking Corruptors. You can't even do it your fucking self.
Yeah, I hate it like that.
I was like, fuck. It felt like Gladiator. Like, you know how he just challenges him? The king said, I was like, that was like one of my favorite parts, because it just felt like that from scene from like Gladiator, where you're just telling everybody like, you know what are you gonna do?
I wish they had killed him in the arena.
I know, that would have been better.
Like I felt like that fight would have been a lot better than him just walking up to you like literally at the beginning of the siege at the end, and just you kill him in like one battle. And I'm like, that's kind of lame. Like your death is cool, but the fight was just kind of lame. And then it has those obviously placed like barrels around
And
you.
after
It's
that,
like,
you see Silas coming in with like 2 striders and like fucking the 3 sawtooths. I'm like, holy fucking! They just fucking attack the corruptors like nothing. Like,
so cool. I think my favorite part would probably be going to Meridian for the first time, like seeing that, like riding up to it, and I was like, holy shit!
Especially almost like on a rock.
Yeah, when it's like, I was like, that is Meridian. Like that's what they're talking about because they showed it. They talked about it in the trailer initially when it's like, oh, there's palaces, as big as like kings and stuff like that, and I'm kind of like, and I'm like, I haven't really seen that yet. I've just seen, like the Nora, like the lands, the sacred lands and stuff like that. And then to see like this big, fascinating city, like all built by this really powerful technology, I was like, this is wow. Like I had to like stop and take a few pictures of that. And by the way, the photo mode in this game is awesome. Like I've talked about this on the other video, but like I really underestimated how often I'd be using photo mode. Like I used it quite a bit during this.
I did a lot. Every time it was like where I was climbing a mountain, it was just like the lighting was perfect. The sun was like lowering down, just like a beautiful sunset. I would just like take a picture of it right away.
Yeah.
And like every time when you like defeated an like either a Stormbird or Thunderjaw, you just want to take a picture with it as well. Like it's like a feel of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You're like, there it is. And it was just like the photo mode was just like a perfect way. It just felt perfect.
Well, it's like I like how Sony was like the big, champion of that at the beginning, where like other games have now started implementing photo mode. Like I know Doom has one, I know Shadow of Mordor has one, but it's like every like big exclusive Sony game so far has had. I think every one of them has had a photo mode. Like I know Uncharted had one, Last of Us had one. What's another one? I thought I said Last of Us. Last of Us, Uncharted. Fuck. I can't think of any. That's a shame that Last Guardian didn't have one because that was a beautiful game. But yeah, I'm glad that they have a photo mode here. But yeah, that's yeah, great game. Very happy it turned out like it did. But yeah. So yeah, that's been the Horizon Zero Dawn spoiler cast. We'll have to do more of these more often when we get more games, story based.
Well, what's the next game coming out soon?
I know like Mass Effect is the big thing, but I'm not gonna get Mass Effect. Like I might.
After 3, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, like I'd get if I were to ever play, if I was like even considering getting Mass Effect and I got it. When I ever did a Spoilercast, I'd get like Jordan involved because Jordan's like a huge Mass Effect fan. Like he loves Mass Effect, so I'd probably like ask him to get involved because but that's if I were to buy Mass Effect, which I'm most likely not going to.
Is pretty much everything just Mass Effect? Nothing else coming out?
Kingdom Hearts at the end of the month.
Oh yeah, fucking
1.5, 2.5. That I'm definitely gonna get. Like, and I can't really do a spoiler cast on that. Well, I guess I can. I can talk about Kingdom Hearts 2 like a spoiler cast, like a big long thing about it. That's actually a cool idea. If I could get people involved to do that, that'd be cool.
That's like everybody.
Yeah, that is mostly everybody. But yeah, we'll plan something else when another story-based game comes out. God, I'm trying to think of what what another one is. I guess Persona 5 might be like the next big one, but I don't think you're getting Persona 5. Nah, I'm getting
Sniper Ghost Warrior 3.
They're selling that game with the season pass?
Yes, I know. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. That's how bad the game is. When the only digital version of it available is with the season pass. That's fucking sad. That's bad.
I'm like, they had a AAA budget and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a shit game. Don't buy Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. I've played it.
You want to save money? Don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy it. So anyway. Mario, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at the Tech Guy /Gamers. Pretty much just YouTube where pretty much it's about games. I come up with like ideas if you guys are planning on making a PC not too expensive, but you guys have a budget. I always do these budget videos. You guys can send me like messages as well if you guys are like trying to look for something that's good, that's on your price budget, especially if you want to include with a monitor, because usually PC budget builds are not included with monitor. But if you do have a certain budget and you just want to play games at 1080p, mostly play AAA games, some of them can even play good like 45, steady 45 to like over 60 frames, then you guys can hit me up on my channel, or same thing on Twitter. I'll be happily to help you guys out. I do this a lot for other people. You guys can check out my channel. I also have well, I think Adam will also post that on the video too.
What, me? About what?
You just post on my channel there too.
Oh yeah, I'll put a link to your channel. All right. So anyway, that's been the Horizon Zero Dawn Spoilercast. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you whenever we do another Spoilercast. We'll think of something.
Probably.
We always do.
Yeah, we always do.
All right. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.